Okay, you know, it was absolutely inevitable that we are building in diorama mode, in the Rudy mode, if you want to call it that way. And we built this. But how we got there is a totally different story. So let's speak about it. Let's see how I got here. But before we start talking about this biome I was building in and the reason why I was doing, and also some struggles I had along the way, let me just quickly say thanks to Frontier again, because this mode is not even remotely, it's fully and intentionally dedicated to me, because I have inspired the whole community to build dioramas a year ago, and people just they didn't really jump on the bandwagon. They basically stormed in from all sides as if I were driving through a canyon and the raiders were like trying to, come at me. That's how it felt. Like, I just woke up that day after somehow it popped up and everyone liked these videos so much. I saw like 10 or 11 different screenshots all over the place, like from different people making dioramas themselves, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I told this story quite often already, so let's skip that little chapter and not bore you guys too much. But ever since, people have been building dioramas, I've been building dioramas. I have quite some dioramas done in the past, and with this latest update, free update to the game, we got this dedicated diorama mode. So if you guys haven't opened the diorama mode quite yet, what have you been doing? And also, if you guys don't have, for example, Planet Zoo, which still a lot of you guys out there, the viewers, don't have, I still recommend getting it if you have any chance. This mode basically is a sandbox mode that is getting rid of everything like the skybox and like whatever is around, and just offers you that look into a small little piece or chunk of soil, so to say, on which you can build, and then you have it floating in midair. You can even change the backgrounds. You can really do different things. So very nice, and it almost feels like the original Roller Coaster Tycoon feeling, if you ask me, guys, because that's basically in Roller Coaster Tycoon you did build a diorama in a way. It was just like perspective-wise, and also with the dimensions, it felt a lot bigger than it was. But if you zoomed all the way out, you were building on that, like, square piece of land or whatever I want to call that. So yeah, we are here back with a diorama mode, which is awesome, because they did it because of me. And honestly, it makes building dioramas so much easier, because you just jump in. It's automatically set to Sandbox. It's automatically set to the creative preset. You have all the freedom you can expect, and you don't need to care about, putting this in mid-air. Remember, I have done like a tutorial about these things in the past, and yeah, I can actually delete the tutorial now, because you don't need to do that anymore. You can just go straight into diorama mode and build it. So yeah, apparently, this is what we're doing in this video today. It only took me 3 minutes to explain that. How cool. I'm getting better at that. This build is actually in the Taiga biome. I was asked to do one diorama for the brand new creator tag, the diorama creator tag, which again is something they made because of me, obviously, because the mode is made because of me. Oh, it's so cool. I want to say that again, but it's okay for now, okay? And it's really cool because we do have this mode and we do have the tag now, so they have some spotlights on this. I remember they did have some spotlights in the Planet Coaster era as well, which would then, change with certain other wordings and stuff to give a lot of people credit, and that's the same what's happening now. Really cool little feature, so you can easily check out dioramas made by people who made specifically dioramas if you guys like watching them. It's really cool. It's not only taking the idea I had into account, it's taking so much more into account, because like there's like a whole community around dioramas on its own, and maybe that's gonna attract them as well. So if you guys out there are here because you are in the first place interested in dioramas, please let me know in the comments. That would be very interesting to know. But yeah, we're building this one, and again, Taiga, I was looking for something that I wanted to build, and I came up with a Scandinavian build that I found on actually TripAdvisor. It was just like, I was looking at some architectures like in Norway or in Sweden or in Finland, and if I'm not completely wrong, this is a hotel that is found in Finland, and I just found the architecture of this hotel thingy pretty nice, and I thought with why not just go with this one and build this one as like the main shelter and the main building in here. I gotta say though, I will keep it totally open to the backside because it is the main shelter for the animals in here. However, that the animals are I mean, we're in Planet Zoo, and I'm saying that the animals are not extremely important in this build, but I mean, that's really the truth. They have not been my major focus of the build, simply because I wanted to create like a nature diorama of like the Taiga biome in Finland, and just put in a couple of animals that would technically live there, which would practically not go together in the game or in a, let's say, very tiny space of land, because we will have the grizzly bear, we will have some otters, we will also have the lynx, and I think that's that. I think that's the three I have in, and you can obviously tell that they wouldn't get along too well if they would be living too close to each other. Basically, the grizzly bear would never have any issues of food. However, the other ones potentially wouldn't exist for too long. So yeah, obviously it would have been very cool to have some salmon or something in the river, because that's something which really would be cool, or like any kind of other bigger fish that would be food for the grizzly bears. But never mind, it's just, as I said, like a little diorama idea. And here we go, just starting to put some of the trees in and stuff. You see, I made this raised plateau to the right hand side to have a bit of elevation going on. In a couple of minutes you will see that I changed also a couple things with the elevation anyways. There you go. This is the next bit I'm going to do here, and I figure in a couple more minutes that this is not even enough, and I will bring in a wonderful little dam, which I found is a lot better to have in there. You will see that in the real-time part also. I just felt like it's important to have it, simply to give the animals also the chance to get over. As you can see over here, I'm just like changing already quite a bit of the area, just to make sure that we will have the dam in here, and then just changing a couple of things so it looks good. Really, one thing I love about building in the diorama mode is actually how accessible and easy it is to just create something that gives a good feeling, that makes a lot of sense in a way, but then again it doesn't make any sense. So you're not restricted to too many realism aspects, and at the same time you're also not restricted by connecting another area. It's like pure imagination that you're building your thoughts on, and I love that a lot, because the requirement for a good diorama is your imagination, the imagination of the viewer, because it's not what you see in particular that makes it amazing, it's what you don't see. Maybe that sounds strange in the first place, but let me get that straight. See, a diorama is a intentional cutout piece. It's almost like you have a big cake and you take out one piece of the cake and you look at it from the side or from top or from the background, so you can see how that, piece of cake, the slice of cake, looks. But what's really interesting is the whole cake. You imagine the whole cake, you see? And this is exactly how a diorama works in a way. You have this tiny chunk of what could be the entire, northwest of Finland, with all its wonderful areas and lakes and, whatnot, and rivers and all these kind of things in this part of the country. But at the end of the day, it's not that. The only thing is it's happening in your mind. And I love this so much, because dioramas actively do trigger inspiration and imagination, and I'm a big fan of that. I'm really a big fan of that. And this is also why I always want to create dioramas that don't really have a particular border, and keep them as open and spacious as possible in certain ways, just to ensure that your brain automatically thinks there is something to, go on with. And usually it works pretty well if you do some roads that lead into a tunnel, or if you have like waterfalls, for example, that flow down the edge, or if you have some plateaus that just kind of completely split up in the middle. Like these things are little hints for your brain to keep on thinking, which is always kind of cool. It's good when you can put in these like little tricks to keep the brain working. It's never bad if the brain keeps on working. That's a really good thing. So yeah, that's basically the build when it comes to the overall I think strategy is not the right word. It's like the concept, I guess, is the better word for it. And I figured at the very end that I didn't really like this very normal, straight look of it, and I went with a bit more, rough terrain underneath. I could have done a lot more, but I was quite happy with the build, and also, as you know, because of all my computer issues and stuff, the time given for all of the build here wasn't in particular that much, and so I wanted to make it as good as I could in the given time, and I didn't want to do too much else, because whenever you start something, you gotta do it and finish it, and this is why I decided to keep it very straightforward with the build, and I'm very happy with the outcome. It's definitely not my most detailed build, definitely saying that, but it's also by far not my least detailed one, so it's a very good mixture, and I think for a diorama it works, because you're selling the idea and you're not selling the detail, and that's really good. I mean, that's not true. You do sell the detail, because the detail makes a lot, especially in these dioramas, because it's a blueprint for your brain to keep on thinking. So I spent some time on important details, let's put it that way, but I left out some unnecessary details. I think that's the best way to put it, because I'm also someone who loves to do the unnecessary details, which because of timing reasons, I left these unnecessary things out this time around. And yeah, here we go with the final design, so to say. In a couple of seconds we will jump over into the real-time part. Really curious to show you how it finally looked, and also I was experimenting a little bit with the colors and with the grading. I'm going to show you something funny, which you may have not noticed before in the game, because they did it in a very clever way, and I never noticed that Frontier did this in such a clever way. But there's something that they do when the weather changes, and it is something that obviously you wouldn't notice, because they do a great job. Oh, we do also have raccoons in there. I totally forgot about that, but raccoons do make like a lot of sense as well. So yeah, raccoons are one more species. We've got 4 different species in here. Now, as I said, there's something very interesting that Frontier does. I think it's also to keep some of the performance, and also at the other time to sell a different mood. I think mood is the best way in this sense. Anyways, let's jump over into the real-time part, and you will see what I was talking about. So, see you after the cut. Promised, here we are in the real-time part, and as you can tell, I exchanged some of the background colors. In fact, not some, I exchanged all of them, just to show you, in case you have never seen that. You can basically click here on that little diorama icon, and then you can decheck the override, and you've got your normal sky back. As you can see, there's the sky. If I look down, it's basically all like foggy and shady, as if we are in mid-air, which in fact we are. And so you know, you can just go in and say override, and then you've got the black again. I'm doing the black intentionally, because in a second you will see why. Now, as you can tell, there are some of the animals roaming around. Look at that. I mean, look at that. I love it with the bear over here. Like the black background really does sell the idea of being in a totally separate space. I really love that. It's also very handy in terms of making some screenshots and stuff, and oh, it just looks so cool. Love the grizzly bear. They also did receive some new color patterns, which I haven't, unfortunately I haven't seen them yet in here, but they do have some. We also have like lynx lying down here in the grass. Hello, look at that one, little cozy lynx lying in here. And as I said, the building from the back is totally open, so they can have a little sleep in here. I do like the idea that all of these animals get along. Like, real life they wouldn't, obviously, but I like the idea. Here we have some otters, as you can see. Also, you can see some of the raccoons swimming around. Just like, yeah, I did cover up the backside here, by the way, because you can see that there is a screen and stuff. I like the, you know, the glass wall, which we don't want to see. One thing that's really cool is that some of the animals can actually, if I do click on one, hello, would you mind being, oh wait, I should enable the overlay, then we should see that. Okay, and then you can actually tell that some of the animals can in fact climb up here, especially, where is the lynx? Hello, can I click you? Okay, there's like a little bug over here. I think it's because I used Freebuild. I forgot to get that out. Anyhow, you know, some of them can climb up here, but there's one thing I wanted to show you, which is in particular very interesting, and this does work despite the fact I have Freebuild installed. If we go into the atmospheric conditions, I'm going to change it now to snow, and I'm going to speed up the game, and you will see that something interesting happens. There you go. I, first of all, thought that this is a mistake. because as you can see, there is like everything is like very bluish and kind of has like this overlay, it almost seems. But check that out. If I'm gonna change this back to here, your eye will maybe take like a second, just as mine did, and all of a sudden it all looks good again. This is a little trick that Frontier uses in order to change. They didn't really change the shader, and this is something which is weird, because usually you would change the shader overall and then it should work with the background. But what they did is they kind of have a little overlay of almost like, I'm not sure if that's a volumetric cloud or if it's like the color pattern that they change or the lighting. I think my personal idea is that this is the lighting that changes into like a lot more bluish lighting. So they basically put a different like, yeah, almost like a filter on top. It's not really a shader, it's a filter. And this causes this all to be more bluish. They take out all the, you know, saturation and stuff to make it really appear a lot more like it was snow. And it's kind of cool because you do now see the snow, and the closer you get, the more normal it looks like. And if I do change it back to the black, as you can see in a second, it starts to look like a bit weird. Even though I just simply love this just kind of very pitch black sky, because we never have that. And even if you go now to the night mode, just gonna do this real quick. Ooh, oh my god, where's that light coming from? Hello? What is going on here? What's the drill? Something. Oh my god, oh my lord, what is that? I hope I didn't hear. Can I just somehow change that? Wait a second, that also looks kind of funky. That looks almost like as in a 3D program. Kind of neat. That's really cool. However, what is going on here with the... I'm a bit confused. Why is this? Ah, there you go. That it is... I think that's a bug. Because what I wanted to show you is more like, as you can see, because the more you go to the night... Okay, something about the night tells me that it's not the best idea ever. But as you can see, the more you change the lighting over here, I think this is a very good example, as you can tell. The lighting kind of normalizes because the overlay is not as crazy. But I'm just like very much in love with it. And the same goes when you turn on the rain. It has like a completely different color shader or like color filter that goes on. There you go. This is that one. It's actually really funny to see, because you never notice that once you play the game normally on the map, because everything on the map will change accordingly, and then it doesn't really seem as obvious. But it's really cool. If you go very up close again, you can see that it starts to look a bit more normal, but the more you look around, it does feel a bit awkward. Just looking from over here, you can see you really have to have the black background as like the sky. That looks really cool. Also, like with these foggy clouds from the rain, I'm not sure, but that looks really, really cool. The more I see that, the more I really want to have like a lot darker nights as well, with a bit of better shading and stuff. But that's just something personal about me. And also, you know, we can also change it back to normal conditions, and then you will see in a second that also the color pattern just kind of normalizes. Let me just change it back to a more normal time. There you go. It just takes a second until the insane J.J. Abrams lens flares are gone. But that's what you get when you build in diorama mode. I am a big fan of that, as you can tell. Don't mind these people floating in midair, because they eventually did have a pathway, but it's gone. So it's kind of funny that they're all like in the void of nothingness. Look at that. The people of Planet Zoo just in the void. Anyhows, yeah. Really enjoyed building in here. I'm totally into building more dioramas in the future. I'm not promising any frequency because of our move that is just very much in the next coming months. I don't really have that much time anyways, and I think at the moment all my focus is on Zoo Sicily in a way, because I like Zoo Sicily quite a... Are you telling me that you... You've seen that, haven't you? Like, that's what you do. You're building like for a full year or something and try to fix up some holes and stuff so that people fit through. And now I don't know, 800-pound grizzly bear is just like randomly going into, like casually walking into a normal human-sized door. Sure, do it. It's fine. Okay, never mind. I think it's the perfect time to wrap it up, guys. I'm just gonna try to pan around here. Also, by the way, this is also something that we were never really able to do, and something I forgot to do, because that's kind of cool. I should have paid attention to all the sides, because obviously, it being a proper diorama mode, you can now build this from every side, simply because there's nothing around that you shouldn't see. Really cool little feature. Totally forgot about that. I should definitely think about a trick how to make a perfect panning shot. Anyhows, really enjoyed building this. As I said, if you guys did enjoy it as well, please leave a like to the video, or in best case, do help me out to reach that 77,000 at least at the end of the year, by just subscribing to the channel. That's it's for free, in case you didn't know. And also, thank you so much for your ongoing support. Have a wonderful Christmas time ahead. Thank you so much for your support, and stay safe, and goodbye.